take a very quick look at a technique that I'm sure we've shown before. And we like this one, and I like the application, I like the way it works, and I think that rather than thinking about it in totally combative terms, one of the reasons for looking at it is that it shows a number of principles. So we're going to start out like this. We can get into why someone might grab your wrist another time, but right now we're just going to start out like this. And what we're going to do is use this thumb knuckle just here to engage this space just here. And the way we're doing that is obviously, if I'm putting two hands towards this one, I've got to worry about this. But if we cut through there and then come in here, then that does kind of upset the balance a little bit. So we see this little thing called cross-body motor reaction. If I just hit like that, then I get drawn into a combat. But if we saw through and set, then what I've done is to bring this up closest to me, and because he might be very, very strong, you might have difficulty moving that, or at least moving that before this drills your face. And it means that I need something just to take the sting out of this. Now you can call that a distraction, or we can call it a pressure point technique, or call it whatever you like. We're just going to engage and then set. Now in the kata, this hand would go flying straight up in the air. But you can see from the set of the shoulder that we've got a problem here. So for a training partner's purposes, I'm just going to let that out. If you get to this position and the shoulder's not engaged like that, the chances are that you haven't coiled it in enough. So you take your thumbs and rotate them towards you. The more you do that, the worse that's set. Shove these hands straight up, we give this arm a real problem. So I'm just going to let it out and then push it up, just so that we can see the rest of the technique. Taking the hand that's furthest from us and turning it over to grasp, and then we're controlling the little finger side of this hand here, which gives us this as our target for drilling through. So our judan punch is a shot to the throat. What you're looking at is this going down here, and then we're pulling it up, and then we're turning it over and pulling it back. And you say, well, in the kata the hands are like this, and you never get them there. No, my hands get stuck like that because there's an arm in the way. And this follows the same piece of logic as we have when we do this, and you go, well, that's hitting someone in the body or hitting someone in the head. And you say, well, if you can understand that actually the kata would look like that if we were to do it in any kind of realistic form, but we transfer it to here because of follow through, then the same with this. I'd get my hands to here if I could pass through that arm or bend that arm in that way. But in trying to get to that position, we're going to set that wrist. Now, one of the faults that people do, or variations, is people go like this, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's done a job. It's offset the target and got us into this position. It then enables me to throw this round and continue through. It's just not the same application that I just showed you. And so the reason I like this version is because it shows us all sorts of little points of dynamic. Things like the fact that I've got my knees bent to come down. It's not set because I'm tall. It's set because it's set. And then we throw these hands up. You can feel that that's going to do some work before you get anywhere near the point where it actually would. And then as we do this part, it's quite obvious that if I try and push down here, you can push back up. And we get into a battle. But if I don't push there and push here, then the pressure is very different. And that illustrates so much to us about how we manoeuvre the human body. So this technique, just as you see in kata like Pinan godan or Heian godan, with little variations to the hand positions, just for your consideration. And that's our technique.